Mark, it's been a few months now since GDPR went through. What do you think that meant to estate agents?
Right. So I have to say a disclaimer at the start of this one, obviously, because I'm not a lawyer or, in any way.
So you're not giving legal advice, but you're giving good advice.
Yeah. It's a funny one, GDPR. It's such a grey piece of legislation. As it was happening, I could see lots of companies that were taking advantage of this opportunity to make some money. And that's a very tempting thing to do. But ultimately, it can't really lead to anything because the truth comes out at some point. Now, what GDPR, in my interpretation of it,
For estate agents,
was intended to do is to stop people from literally buying in data of anybody and sending random emails to them. Right, that's the purpose of GDPR. The sharing of information that I didn't realise was going to be shared with 1,000,001 other companies. What it specifically isn't designed to do is to stop companies that you gave your details to from communicating with you, because that falls under legitimate interest. So if you look at my company as an example, we've got a database of estate agents. Not all of them consented to receiving emails from us, but we have a legitimate interest on a legal basis to communicate with them because we have products specifically for estate agents and they're estate agents, and that's the end of it. As long as I always give them an opportunity to update their email preferences, I meet all of the legal criteria. So lots of estate agents were scared into burning their entire databases.
I was sending those bloody emails out that said, "Do you want to opt in?"
Exactly. And now they can't reverse out of that because they said to people, "Do you want to opt in?" People ignored it because they've got 1,000,001 emails, and now they're in a position where they're like, "Oh, I can't email them."
They burn their mailing list.
Now, it might not be such a bad thing. A lot of estate agents are quite protective over their data, but in the grand scheme of things, their data is quite useless. It's mostly just a name and an email address at this point in time.
I think there's a lot of vanity as well. I've got a list of 20,000 people.
Absolutely. And, with social media, you can find people, and you can find all the people you want at the right time. But you do have a legitimate interest, even more so with things like, I've had a few agents come to me and say, "Oh, we're using your tool, we go on the valuation, and then it puts this person into a communication program, but I don't believe I've had their consent to put them in the communication program." That's a legitimate interest. The person asked you round to their house. You have a legitimate reason for thinking that they would like this content, and they have the option to opt out of it. So GDPR is not really for that. It's just to stop people losing data, sharing data. The bigger problem for agents than that is one probably not addressed by most of them, which is what happens if someone walks into your office and the key cabinet's open and they can see all the keys with all the addresses. Now that's a massive GDPR breach. What happens if someone breaks into your shop at night, steals one of your computers with a load of data on it? What have you done to prevent that? If you've got a laptop that you work with away from the office, how does that work in terms of data being stolen off it? If you emailed a spreadsheet of data to someone else in the office and accidentally put the wrong person's name in and emailed it out to the outside world, what's going to happen there? So they're the real issues of GDPR. How do you stop your data being stolen? As opposed to, can I email people that came in and asked for my services?
Interesting. Thank you.
All right.